Tip number 4, using the right tools. 3 brave statements I'm going to make here. Firstly, the big one that I'm going to run through. Google is dead. Big statement. Let me try and prove it to you. Secondly, don't replace Google with ChatGPT. A lot of people making that mistake. And thirdly, the killer of Google, Perplexity. If you haven't come across it, you need to. Let's have a look. So, I know Google's dead is a big statement. Well, I don't mean the company Google, but I do mean the search engines. In fact, I don't think Google as a search engine has ever been that amazing. It was the best that we had, but they did have a number of limitations. Firstly, if you think about it, they never gave us an answer when we asked a question. They gave us a big long list. Pages and pages, in fact, billions of results. And it was left for us to sort out, or it is left for us to sort out, which page contains the right information. And most of the time, what we do, not even being lazy, but we just go to the ones at the top of the list. How do they get to the top of the list? We'll come to in a moment. Secondly, there's no interaction there. Well, we didn't expect it, but now there is an option for interaction. So that's a big disadvantage of search engines like Google. Thirdly, how do they get to the top of that list? Well, one way, they pay, which obviously doesn't make them a great answer, it just makes them pay. But if they're not paying to get up there, well, there's something called search engine optimization. It's pretty complicated and no one fully understands it. They change it all the time. But being at the top of that list isn't necessarily about the quality of their answer, giving you the right answer. You've seen on my screen, there's a number of factors in there. You can have a look at it, but they look at things like, is the content original? Well, I don't really care, do I, if it's original? I want it to be correct. Secondly, it's all really about keywords. If you put the word innovative, which is the best innovative practice, it's going to drag up the web pages that are plastered with the word innovative in the title, in the subsections. If it doesn't have that word innovative repeated, it won't give it to you as an answer. Big problem. Thirdly, mobile friendliness. How well does it load on a mobile? What has that got to do with the quality of the answer? Page speed loading, again, and backlinks. Other people, have they put links on that page to connect with another? All of those mean that when you ask a question and you go to Google, it isn't necessarily the best answer. We've accepted it for too long, but now there are alternatives. Google as a search engine is dead. So, LLMs, are they the solution? ChatGPT, well, that's what's happening. People are saying, well, you like AI, yeah, you're going to tell me ChatGPT is the solution. No, we've moved on. In fact, no, there is a really common mistake being made there. Firstly, when we're in experience with ChatGPT, we open it up and it looks kind of like Google, and our brain, whether you want it to or not, starts thinking, okay, this is a Google, I'll treat it like Google. Many of you will have done that. You'll put your question, an answer will come up and you go, it's rubbish. And you won't interact because you think, I've never interacted. It's a Google, you don't. That's the mistake. You need to recognize, change your brain, change your way of thinking about it. Easier said than done. But understand, it isn't Google. Secondly, well, you shouldn't be using ChatGPT for the things really that you use Google for anyway. When you're Googling, most of the time you're looking for an answer to something, a fact. And that's not really what LLMs are all about. I'll save what they really do for another lesson. But LLMs, you need to think of them like a person with all the flaws that come, very intelligent person, but with all the flaws that come with being a person, a professor. Therefore, if you think about that analogy and you want to know a definition of something, you wouldn't really go to a professor to ask for a definition. You go to a dictionary. You go to somewhere where you can look at it and copy it down. Therefore, LLMs if you ask them something like that, they can give you opinions, clever opinions, but they don't necessarily give you facts. And the biggest problem is they want to please you. They want to give you an answer. And we don't know where they get those answers from. So if you need a solid answer to something, you don't want to go to a person and you don't want to go to ChatGPT. It will make stuff up. If you're using the free version, 80% of the references that it gives you are probably made up. That doesn't mean ChatGPT is useless. It's incredible for other things, but you are using it wrongly. So what do we use? What is replacing Google? Well, if you haven't come across it, it's this one, Perplexity, and some other sites like Consensus and various other things. But Perplexity is incredible. Have a look. There'll be a link coming up in a moment to a video that takes you through how to use these in more detail based on an IB system, but the information is still the same. But essentially, you need to find out about Perplexity. Jeff Bezos invested in it, Nvidia's invested in it, huge company. It's backed with LLMs behind it, but the difference is they are giving you answers. They are being called answer engines, but they have all the benefits that overcome the disadvantages of Google. So go to the website, you'll see, or look at the video, but you're going to type something in. When you want to know the answer to something, you can type that question in, but it will give you an answer. But unlike ChatGPT, it will give you hyperlinks, have little numbers next to it, and it will tell you where it's getting that information from, which is incredible because then you can check it. You can say, okay, well, this is the answer to this question, but where did you get it from? Let me see if they've got anything bias in there. You can click on those and see it. Secondly, you can interact. Unlike Google, well, it'll give you more questions, or you can change the format. Give me the answer that I can understand as if I was a 13-year-old, and so forth. Don't Google anymore. You need Perplexity on your home screen, and every time you get tempted to go back into Google, oh, I'll just Google it, swap it for Perplexity, you're going to get answers. It's going to save you so much time. That's tip number 4. I hope it helped.